All right, Mother Truckers, is done. So about 35 minutes ago, Sean Duffy puts a post out on X stating that it's a promise that's made, meaning that they have signed the executive order that all truck drivers have to speak English proficiently. What's going on, Mother Truckers? Welcome to muthatruckernews. This is definitely the biggest news in a long time. President Trump signing an executive order that all truck drivers have to speak English proficiently, right? And nobody believed it. It was a TikTok video that came out, and then Caroline Levitt comes out and basically makes an X post. And at that point, that's when everybody's like, wow, this is truly happening. I look on YouTube, I look on all social medias, and you see Craig Feeler from Freight Waves. You see everybody talking about this, and you're like, okay, this right here is real, right? Georgia O'Connor even emailed me from OIDA stating that the President Todd Spencer agrees with this, and even got confirmation from Sean Duffy, Secretary of Transportation. So all this is true and in line, right? So let's get into today's video right here. Very interesting stuff. You know, tell me you agree or disagree, but I'd love to share this information with you guys because it definitely affects all truck drivers in America.
And then the third executive order, which actually speaks to the heart of your question earlier about the Uber drivers, will be a order directing the Department of Transportation to include English literacy tests for our truckers. This is a big problem in the trucking community that, unless you're in that community, you might not know, but there's a lot of communication problems between truckers on the road with federal officials and local officials as well, which obviously is a public safety risk. So we're going to ensure that our truckers, who are the backbone of our economy, are all able to speak English. That's a very common sense policy in the United States of America. So the president will be signing that later this afternoon.
So just recently, a fact check from the White House just came out that says President Donald J. Trump enforces common sense rules of the road for America's truck drivers. So for people that are new, that might not understand, when you get your CDL, you have to take a road test, and that already has to be in English. There's actually already a FMCSA rule that states that you have to be English proficient and that you're able to read the signs, right? So him making an executive order of this, you know, why is that so important? Well, that was something federally, but on the state level, people were doing different things. I'm going to go into a timeline so you guys have a better understanding of this for the people that aren't in the trucking industry. So George O'Connor from the OIDA writes me an email as well that says, "Hi, Alex. Just wanted to share the below statement from Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association, OOIDA. President Todd Spencer regarding today's anticipated executive order to be signed by President Trump that ensures truckers operating a commercial vehicle in the United States are qualified and proficient English speakers. Secretary Duffy has confirmed the upcoming announcement as well." So this is 100% true, right? So pretty much Todd Spencer himself, president of OIDA, and says the 150,000 truckers will probably strongly support President Trump's decision to resume enforcement of English proficiency requirements for commercial drivers. Okay, so it states here, basic English skills are essential for reading critical road signs, understanding emergency instructions, and interacting with law enforcement. Road signs save lives, but only when they're understood. So I truly believe this too. So let me give you guys this timeline here. In April of 2015, Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance, CVSA, removes English language proficiency as an out-of-service violation. So you could get a fine for this, for not speaking enough English and being proficient, but it wasn't an out-of-service violation. June 2016, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration issues guidance loosening English language proficiency enforcement. Overall, Mother Truckers, this is the biggest news from the president, from the White House, that's targeting trucking. So please tell me how you feel about this, but I just want to give you the information that's in hand.